Computer. Oh, we're doing it again. We're drinking liquor on camera because, like I said before, our wives are pretty much done hearing us talk about whiskey and bourbon. So now you get to hear us talk about whiskey and bourbon. Let's fill some glasses. So, what do we have today?
Dude, we are going with a bottle you snagged. This is Uncle Nearest,
Shout out.
1856.
Shout out to my man Ayeshim from Ethiopia. He brought this to me.
He was friends with Uncle Nearest, right?
No, no. I will say though, the most amazing. This is actually okay. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there and you want to,
It sucked. Sorry.
if you want to have whiskey that has a story to tell, buy yourself a bottle of Uncle Nearest.
It's kind of a sad story, honestly.
Well, hold on. It starts out kind of sad, but if you really think about it, it's rags to riches story like none other. So let me just say, Uncle Nearest, if you didn't know the story, here, let me enlighten you. Okay. So there was a man by the name of Nathan Green who was born a slave, and he was on a plantation in Lincoln County, Tennessee. And basically, this man who became sort of, aside from being a slave on the property, he was the distiller on the property. A little boy that was, I think, 7 year old, a 7 year old orphan had basically come to the property, and they said, he got interested in the whiskey production and into the distillery and was like, hey, I want to know how to make whiskey. And Nathan Green, aka Uncle Nearest, took this young boy under his wing, trained him, and by the time the boy became 18, he started his own whiskey company. And some of you may have heard of this little cottage distillery known as
Jack Daniels. That's right.
Yeah. So Nathan Green turned out, after he actually became a free man, he also became the number one first master distiller in the Jack Daniels distillery.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And then by the time Nathan Green passed away, he and his family was one of the most affluent families in Lincoln County. And I think the fifth generation, so his like great granddaughter or great granddaughter is also a master distiller, because all the family line maintained their master distiller knowledge or capabilities. And so the great granddaughter of Nathan Green found his 1856 recipe and decided, let's get a distiller to do it. They, smartly enough, now I know only a little bit, I'm not a smart man, but they actually went to a smaller distillery, like a craft distillery, because they wanted to have the end product to be much closer to what
somebody could do in 1856.
Right, what Nathan Green would have been sipping on. You know what I'm saying? So either way, let's get into this. Let's see how the nose is, right?
Ooh, oh. I got a big ethanol punch when I smell. I might have sniffed a little too hard.
No, I will tell you, I'm getting some of that. And that's the thing I found interesting about this. After drinking it, I had, you know what I drank this side by side with was some Monk's Road and some other Jack Daniels and other stuff. And I gotta say, this one, when I was drinking it, it's got a little bite to it.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of that,
if it comes
that slap you in the face pot distillery. Yeah. I think it's a pot still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit more of those fusels that'll
Well, and for those that don't know, I'm sure if you've been drinking bourbon for any period of time, you already know this, but craft distillers, unlike with beer, right? Like we can go out and we could brew a beer that could match what Miller Lite could do.
Probably way better than
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But with the major distilleries, they have such an advantage in the game because they can process their whiskey more consistently, they can blend it better, they can control things. They have 1 billion barrels, so if they lose their barrels, it's not as big of a deal. This is why you see whiskey distilleries just sort of conglomerating into bigger and bigger entities because, it makes for better products. So if this is a craft distillery, it's going to be a little spicier usually in my experience.
Yeah, and let me just say right off the bat, oh, he's going in for that sip. Let me turn.
Oh, I didn't even get my nosing those. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like that's a man's whiskey first and foremost.
For sure.
Like that is not like that's a little extra. So first and foremost, on the nose, I just wanted to say that initially,
though in 1856, this was a damn smooth whiskey, I would say.
spectacular. No, but let me just say,
Actually,
the nose. So something I feel like I don't know if it's the yeast. I don't know if it's the Lincoln County process. I get a little bit of the
bananas, yeah.
Bananas, just like the Jack Daniels.
But it's
Jack
but
Daniels got that
here's the
candy
thing.
banana.
This
No,
is
this is so much richer.
it's for me, it's a musty banana. It's like almost like a dusty banana.
Thank you. And actually, that was my next thing. I was like, remember that sort of like dusty peanut, almost kind of verges on like that.
I get that from Evan Williams 100 for those that have had it.
Sure. Okay. Okay. I was thinking a lot of bean products.
Yeah.
I get a little dusty peanut, but
yeah,
I'm getting that. But I feel like I'm getting like even that dusty barrel. Like I'm getting
right.
a dusty like if you've ever been into like a really old house and then you go into the basement and you kind of get like a whiff of a big piece of wood that's in the basement and you're like, oh yeah, that's like the slats behind the plaster. Like there's a very kind of like a yeah, kind of like that aged. So I wonder if that's a property of the blending. Like, are they blending this product with some of their older versus some of their younger stuff? I know this has got a little kick to it.
Now it
This
says
is
on the
not
back,
too zen.
it
It's like that
says on the
cinnamon
back,
heat.
remarkably smooth and aged to perfection. I would disagree with both those statements. But but it's got a cool like so we
The
talk about this
story
a
is
lot.
killer.
Yeah, exactly. And we talk about that all the time. Like you can like push your tasting notes onto somebody else by just mentioning them.
Power of suggestion.
Exactly. It's a very real thing. That's why there's placebos and trials and stuff like that. But I will say,
Yeah. No, let's get serious because we got 100 proof whiskey here. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, this is
I mean, can I just say first,
banana runts, not just bananas.
right? Yeah,
candied bananas,
banana, candy, almost like candied banana creme brulee. But let me just say, look, this first and foremost, the nose on this I think is great. Like I think the nose on this, the aromas, the almost like because I like a full body nasal experience when I'm getting into my whiskey. Yeah. I mean, look, if you haven't already noticed just by watching me on this video in this short period of time, I'm like 90% nosing this.
Yeah.
10%.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the nice thing about this whiskey is it's 100 proof, but it drinks like 140. So
just say, yeah, this is kind of
it's
got some youngness to it,
and it's not just so there can be young whiskeys, which we're going to get to, that can actually be very mild.
Yes,
but this is not.
This has got the sharpness to it.
This has got an edge.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you ever have that
like drinking razor blades or something?
Right. Well, no. Look, what I was going to say is, you ever had white dog, where it's like off the still, and or it's like, or if you get like a 2-year age stated whiskey or something, and it's just like it's just like they put drops of like gasoline.
Listerine was like, this is not good enough for our
right. Yeah, for like this doesn't burn enough. Listerine, need some of that. No, yeah, no. This Uncle Nearest. Look, can I just say this though? If somebody bought this for me, I sat down and drank this. This is, I mean, look. Can we also get this on camera? Look how much he still has left. Like I'm not gonna put this in the crushable category.
If you put this in the crushable category, it might be time to go see it. This is not crushable. However, this is an experience. And again, like the story is so cool. If you've ever had Blade and Bow, like Blade and Bow is a much bigger distillery, but like it's the same thing. It's got the cool story or the
Right. But what
Jefferson's
about Jeff?
Ocean.
Thank you. I was gonna say Jefferson's Ocean, because then
agency.
you can
You're like,
like
oh,
talk about like,
my
well,
bourbon's been around the world. Like,
uh,
if you like that kind of story, but have something that's much more genuine and true to, let's be completely honest, the most influential bourbon company. Oh, it's technically not bourbon, most influential whiskey company on the planet. This guy had a hand in
that's right.
developing. So
That's right. No, no, and mad respect. And the fact of the matter is, if you ever really wanted to know what like Jack Daniels probably tasted like in the 1800s, you probably are on par. Like you're
and
getting close to where it needs to be. And can I also just so can I say what too? Actually, now that I'm a little bit further into this glass
yeah,
and a
yeah,
little bit,
I was gonna
can I
say
just say it's evolving?
it
I'm
is.
getting spiced orange.
I'm not getting that. I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon, but I see the spice, sort of like a baking, some sort of baking spices coming
I was
through.
thinking, like, have you ever had oranges that are like around Christmas time where they're putting like clove and cinnamon and they're like, baking it or they're doing stuff like that, or they're putting in like a potpourri? That's kind of what, and unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of bourbons that have, and so now this is kind of molding and morphing into a bit of a flowery flavor.
Mm,
Like,
potpourri, yeah.
yeah, and that's
He hates
where
potpourri. I can.
I don't dig that. And I have it, and what's weird though is like this kind of brings me back to my whiskey slut behavior. Like I prefer
We're gonna have to
I
find a new phrase for that, by the way. We're still.
we're cooling things out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is it
Um,
called when you do a test?
right,
Like an
right.
audience. We're like still doing an audience.
Yeah,
We're
we're
find a
just
better
still
phrase
tweaking
for
it.
it.
No,
That's a little hard.
Four Roses single barrel is good, but I'm gonna be straight with you. If somebody poured me the standard Four Roses, 80 proof, whatever that is, like the baseline stuff, I think I'd prefer that over the single barrel. Am I crazy? It's just the
Yes, he's
single barrel is a
crazy.
little too floral. It's like I'm
Oh, I
drinking
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
flowers,
So,
and
but
I don't mind an 80 proofer, especially in the summertime. Shit, 80 proofs.
this is not 80 proof. This is 100 proof.
And
Drink some.
this is kind of doing like nunchuck fucking attacks on my tongue. Excuse the language. Let me clean it up. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely boxing your tonsils here a little
yeah.
bit.
Now,
But
can I also
let me
wonder?
also. So we said something
Oh,
about
please.
the 19th century, 1856. We don't really know if this is what it tasted like back in 1856. But what I will say about 19th century drinkers is they were in love with really sugary mixed drinks. And this might be something that now for 50 bucks, it's used as a
Actually,
mixer,
damn near $60 after taxes.
damn near 60 bucks after taxes. I don't know if you'd want to mix something like this, but I can imagine this being great old fashioned maker, great Manhattan. Like if you like mixing whiskey, Uncle
That is
Nearest
1,000% correct. Can I just say the flavor of
sugar
this is
is what
because
you
it's
need.
so
Sugar.
potent. I feel like this flavor will stand through
Right. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
your mixers, like
It's going to hold up. And
whatever
if you're a cigar smoker like me, I was talking to Jason about this before. You don't need to worry about your Liga Bravada overpowering your Uncle Nearest because your Uncle Nearest is going to beat up on your cigar. So
And thanks to legalization, I prefer cannabis over tobacco. So whiskey and cannabis is a very nice thing. But try the CBD stuff. Don't get into the hard stuff unless you're, a trained professional. But either way,
well,
so
I'm Chris.
I'm Jason Franklin, and I'm here to talk to you about. We're wrapping up our conversation about this, and
Cheers.
cheers till the next one.
Yes, sir.
See you on the next one, folks. Thank you for hanging out.